Alrighty. So thank you so much, Bree and Trent, for joining me. So let's tell, for all of those people who are watching, tell us a little bit about who you both are, what you do for yourself in terms of time, your job, and tell us one thing that brings you joy.
I suppose I'll kick off. I work for state government here in Queensland, and I'm in the sport and rec industry, and I help to manage any sport and rec projects that state government gives funding out to, whether that's council or sporting groups. So I manage a wide area from Bundaberg down to nearly the Tweed and then out to the Northern Territory border, taking out the Sunshine Coast and Gold Coast area. We've got a couple of officers that look after those areas just because they're so heavily populated. And I've been in the sport and rec industry for probably 7 years now. And spare time, I don't really have too much of it because I coach junior rugby league and I'm the P&C president at the kids' school as well. And I also, this particular year, we're actually taking our under-10s rugby league team up to Townsville for the Gordon Tullis Cup. So, yeah, free time is not a lot around at the moment.
So you are a dad that's like deep into the community. I love that.
Yeah.
So cool. And Bree, what about yourself? What do you do with your time?
I'm a teacher at kids' school, so a little country school in between Ipswich and Toowoomba. So I work there 4 days a week, and we got 3 kids under the age of 10. So yeah, life's pretty busy.
I'm gonna say
pretty busy. And then it's between gymnastics and footy and everything else.
And now you guys can. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And now you guys can add in property investors to your title, huh?
Yeah.
That we can.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's dive deep into that. So for those who are watching, tell us a little bit about what do you think was the biggest thing that was holding you back from jumping onto realestate.com and buying property? Because, I mean, you got, like, Trent, I remember you were telling me, like, you were watching a couple of podcasts. You were like, let's go, Olivia. I've done some research. What do you think was the thing that was stopping you from, jumping onto real estate and buying a house? Bree's like, me.
Me.
There was a couple of things, I suppose, involved with that. So I suppose at the time, just before, I suppose, starting to work with yourself, as I was actually looking at a property up in Darwin for my older brother to move into. And so he didn't have the ability to purchase it. So I was going to purchase it. And then we were going to have a deal where he pretty much paid all the costs. And then we were going to, once it eventually sold, we'd look to do a split of some sort on the percentage of profits from that particular property. However, that property fell through because there was actually no building approval for the house. However, the veranda attached to the house, there was a building approval for. So yeah, quite a funny one. So we pulled the pin on that, and I started watching some podcasts, and I actually stumbled across one of your videos on Facebook, actually. And the way you were explaining it, I was able to understand it. So that's sort of what piqued my interest. And then I just started watching more and more and more and started to understand, I suppose, the way you were explaining it. There was a lot of people out there that I just didn't understand how they were explaining it. And then I suppose diving deep into that, the ability to, for me, in one word, it would be risk, I suppose. And that's based on mitigating those risks. And I suppose having this one here up me if we've done something stupid or bought something that I probably shouldn't have. So yeah, mitigating those risks. And a big thing for me out of that was not knowing who to talk to, not knowing where to find those people to talk to, because no one that I know is a big investor. I don't know of anyone that actually has anything more than one investment property. And the other one for me is, I suppose, knowing that you need to buy in the right location at the right time. But how on earth do I find out what that right location is at that right time? So, and since working with yourself, understanding that it takes a stupid amount of hours for an individual to do that. And as I said at the start of the podcast, I don't have enough time to do that sort of stuff. So
yeah.
So I was lost in where I had to look, I suppose, was the big thing for me.
Was that and what other risks do you think? Because you were saying that there was like a lot of risk. What was the biggest risk that you were afraid of?
I I suppose throwing money at something that I probably shouldn't be, and having a young family coming up, and I suppose trying to provide for them, and then if I've got an asset elsewhere that's costing me money, because I wasn't, I suppose now working with you a little bit and the other guys, understanding, I suppose, how to make money work for you. I wasn't across that and didn't know how to make that work for me. So that was the big risk for me. And I suppose you only ever really hear of the horror stories when someone invests in something and it goes shithouse. So yeah, I suppose more scared to lose money than to try and make money.
And now how are you feeling about the whole process? Now that you've seen the numbers, you know how it's cash flowing, you know the area and the reason why that area is such a good area. Tell me how you feel about it now.
He doesn't have me saying no anymore.
To be honest, I don't think about it. I really don't. Like, yes,
Awesome.
it's only our first property. We do have a little bit of extra capital there that we can sort of fall back on, and in that regard, but understanding that now, and like beforehand, before we started working with you guys, we still had that capital sitting there that we could work on, but yeah, not knowing how to use that capital. And yeah, now literally I haven't even thought of it. And if someone asks me today what the interest rate is, I couldn't even tell them, to be perfectly honest.
Yes. Job done. Good students. Check. It's one of the interest rates is just such a silly thing that so many people hold on to. And I'm like, you don't understand how irrelevant it is when it comes to investing. Sure, if you're going to own your own home, pay down the debt, and that's a strategy you want to follow, then yeah, sure, focus on it. But one of the key things I love that you took away from it was that the most important thing to actually focus on when it comes to lending is who's going to give me the most amount of money right now. It's a famous quote from Grant Cardone. Go watch him if you haven't. But his famous quote is, "Who's got my money?" And that's number one. And the second thing to that is, which bank's going to give me the most amount of flexibility within the terms and conditions of this loan as well. Then the interest rates come after that. So well done, guys. I'm so incredibly proud of you guys. You've definitely been so easy and humble to work with, and you've asked good quality questions as well. I've absolutely loved that. So tell those who are watching, what is one or two things that you think you learned from me that you'll take away for the rest of your journey, the rest of your life, and be like, yeah, that's what Olivia taught me.
I suppose you said that we're easy to work with. I find it the other way around, and that's because you need to involve the right people, have the right people, be on the right team. So I coach junior rugby league, and I've been involved in rugby league for a long time, and even with the sporting projects that I work with at work, I understand that if I want to put sports field lights up, I'm not going to go and get a plumber to go and do that, because he has absolutely no idea on how to put the sports field lights up. And nor do I. I know how to get all the ducks in a row to make sure that we can get those lights up. Or playing rugby league, I know that the forwards aren't going to run as fast as the wingers or the backs and this, that, and the other. So you need the right people doing the right job. And that's a big takeaway from me. Like I suppose I'm able just to engage you guys and the buyer's agent and the mortgage broker and all of those guys, and they're good at what they do. So who am I to tell them how to do their job? They've been doing it a hell of a lot longer than me and a hell of a lot better than me. So stand out of the way and let them do it.
Testimonial to you. And now you've got like a corker of a property, and you've just basically made a shitload of money overnight. So well done. Awesome. All right. So tell us, last question before we wrap this one up. What's one piece of advice that you would give to another mum and dad who's got 3 kids and they're all working? What's one piece of advice you would give to them in terms of starting off?
Get your partner on side straight away.
Might take a few years, but you'll get there. 5 years, but you'll get there.
No, for me, like I look back and I go, geez, I wish we'd been doing this for 5-10 years already. And then I suppose I look at how long ago 10 years was ago in our life, and I still remember driving to the hospital with our oldest son, who's turning 9 or 10 shortly. He's 9 now. And like the footy game, South Sydney's versus Manly were on. So I still remember the game, and it was semi-finals and she was complaining a bit, so we had to go up to the hospital. So, but I look back at that now and I go, that wasn't all that long ago. So think long-term in what you're doing. Don't get caught up on the little stuff. Yes, you may come up against some hurdles moving forward through the process, but there's ways around it. Talk to people. If you don't understand something, ask the question. It's not a dumb question if you don't understand it. So yeah, that's the big thing for me is think long term, ask plenty of questions, and surround yourself with people who know what they're doing and who do this well.
Oh, what's some good takeaways? Think long term, surround yourself with professionals. What else was there? Get your partner on board. Absolutely. So many people that come to me where like one partner's on board and the other one is like, I'm too scared of everything. Well, that's okay. There's a way to mitigate every single risk. Yeah. And that's all right. Yeah. We've just got to teach people. I think that's the biggest difference between someone like yourself, Trent, or myself, who's like extremely bullish on property. It's like, just got to give you the information. Like, that's it. Yep. And then once you've got the information about how to mitigate all of these things, usually you start to see a bit of a shift. All right, awesome. That's some great takeaways.
I do think I'm a little bit more bullish, like especially working with the buyer's agent guys. I keep telling them that I want to be a little bit more risk adverse and pushing the envelope a little bit more, and they're trying to pull me back a little bit. So, but yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
It's good to have a good balance, right? That's what I love being a coach as well. It's like, look, you've got this opinion, that opinion, and here's my third opinion and about how hard we can go. And then you've got the other end of the scale about being really conservative. I think it's really good to get all those sort of objections as well. So well done, guys. I'm so happy for you and proud of you as well for pushing through and just being so persistent as well. And the good quality questions you were asking, Trent, especially around your property in the deal, because you had such a unique property position as well, offer. And it was quite rare and unique. And yeah, you've walked away with a corker.
Very much so.
Yeah, well done, guys. All right, thank you so much for being.
Go on. All good. We're very, very happy with that property, with that purchase. So, but yeah, big thanks to yourself, and I suppose you involving us with the right people has probably been really, really, really awesome. So, and I look forward to keep working with you and the guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.